Hi, folks. I'm Richard Friedman, and welcome to another one of my my most recent political cartoon countdown for October 17th, 2024. Hi, folks. Welcome back. Good to see you. Today, I'm going to shoot out to you my top three most recent cartoons, top three based upon impressions on X, and I hope you enjoy it. And let's have a go at it. Okay, here, numero tres, number three. This is from September 30th, 2024. Here, I guess to give you the overview. There's former President Donald Trump, potential next president of the United States, potentially. And here is a Fortune 500 CEO, top executive, basically communicating with his son here, Maxwell, to inform him about President Trump's new top line watch in his collection that is called the Trump Victory Tourbillon, the Tourbillon watch, and he's telling his son that he's going to buy that for him for his birthday, with the diamonds and gold, and he's just expressing this to his son Maxwell, and so I'm going to read this to you now to give you the full gist of the cartoon. Fictional Fortune 500 CEO and his fictional son Maxwell react to former president and potentially next president Donald Trump introducing the high end of his watches line. The Trump Victory Tourbillon. That is diamond encrusted with gold that is solid 18 karat and now being sold in a limited quantity now. Remember, gotta move fast. In a limited quantity for $100,000, just $100,000. Okay, so here goes now. Former President Trump making his pitch here for the watch, and very excited about this new watch on his line. And here we go. There he is. Okay, and he's saying here, the Trump Victory Tourbillon. This isn't just any watch. This isn't just any watch. It's one of the best watches ever made. Go to gettrumpwatches.com. It's Trump time. Okay, it's Trump time. There. Okay, it's Trump time. Now, he decides to give his son a call. The CEO decides to give his son a call after watching this. And here he goes. He's offering this, his son, he's saying here we go. Here he is giving his son his call. He's calling his son, very excited about this new offering. $100,000 gold diamond watch. Very excited now. You see, he's very excited about that watch for his son's birthday. Okay, and here he goes. Maxwell, in December, it will be Trump time for you. For your birthday, you are getting a Trump Victory Tourbillon gold watch with diamonds. Okay, now here's Maxwell picking up the phone, answering the phone. Here he is, talking to his dad. Here's Maxwell. See, here's Maxwell. Okay, and he says to his dad, Dad, first, I don't want that $100,000 watch. And second, I'm voting for Harris. I'm voting for Kamala Harris. And then, here goes Matt. And then, his father responds, there he is, zoom on. His father responds, Son, you are a big disappointment. I'm disinheriting you of everything. Do you realize what Trump's corporate tax rate cut back in 2017 did for all of us? And then Maxwell retorts back to him and says this. Here goes Maxwell. Maxwell responds to his dad and says, "Dad, is that how you bought us both Rolls-Royce Phantoms back in 28? The Phantom is the top-of-the-line Rolls-Royce. Bought us both Rolls-Royce Phantoms back in 2018. So he's saying to himself, that must be how my dad got us all when he bought us those two Rolls-Royces back then. And he's telling his father that. So he's not too concerned about his being disinherited. You know, he's decided he's gonna live on tuna fish if he has to, and that you take it from there. Okay. That's Maxwell, former President Trump. Maxwell and the CEO of the Fortune 500 company. Okay, folks, that was numero tres, number three. Okay, and here is numero dos de los semanas, number 2 of the week. Here we have again the former President Trump and his vice presidential nominee, J.D. Vance, here in a conversation. J.D. Vance is watching Trump here. He's watching him. They're not in a conversation. He's watching him from this TV, this flat screen TV here. Okay? Okay. All right, let's have a go at this now. Republican Senator J.D. Vance, vice presidential nominee, watching Tuesday night's presidential debate. You see, so he's watching former president respond in the debate amid Donald Trump saying, in Springfield, Ohio, migrants are taking dogs and cats and eating them. Well, we all heard that. Given Vance has spread unfounded claims about migrants living in that city, abducting pets and eating them, and city officials and the police have no evidence or credible reports, have said that the claims are baseless. So there was one lady who couldn't find her cat. The cat rolled away, and it came back, and that was the closest thing they had. The cat came. You know how cats come in, come out. So the cat came back, and so I think the cat's name was Miss Fluffy, or something like that. Miss Fluffy came back. I think it might not have been the name, but that just to use that. Miss Fluffy came back, and everything was well. Nobody bothered her, touched her, or anything. And that was the closest thing they had to a pet crisis in that city there. So here is J.D. Vance now responding in his own thoughts to the former president and potentially next president, and to him as vice president. And he's saying, here goes J.D. President Trump, our country needs you. These migrants who are eating our pets need a one-way trip to Mars on Boeing's Starliner spacecraft. So what happened with Boeing Starliner is the astronauts are still stranded at the space station, and Elon Musk has just recently sent up his own technology, his own missile, and to his own platform, SpaceX, to rescue them. They're going to bring them back in February, all of them. And the people at NASA decided it was the safest bet for the astronauts to remain there until Elon Musk can bring his technology to rescue them from the space station, but not rescue them, but to bring them back from the space station. So that's the inside information. You would need to understand this. you know, about that that was a boat that was manufactured, that Starliner that was that stranded them there at the space station based upon the decision of NASA was basically made by Boeing. It was made by Boeing. You see, so there you have it. So that's the background for that's a kind of a little, maybe a little inside the joke of how that joke evolved. Okay, so there it is here, there. So he's saying we got it. Basically, what Vance is saying is we got to get rid of all these. He's buying into this thing, and Vance already said that he himself manufactured this erroneous tale because he wanted to drum up support, make people conscious of what's happening with the immigrants. You see, so that's like somebody, you know, many years ago, there was an actor, I think it was Orson Welles, who went on the radio, and this was maybe back in 1920, had no TV then or nothing. People were really disconnected, and relatively today they were disconnected, only had the radio. And he made a report that aliens were attacking New York, and he was going, oh, yeah, the aliens, the flying saucers are landing. Oh, they're coming out of the space. And these, you know, he made this whole thing up. Everybody panicked and everything like that. So basically, that's like somebody today going on and saying we're under nuclear attack. We got to take cover. The Russians have launched missiles on us, and the Iranians are bringing. And then he goes on and says everybody goes crazy and everything for accidents. Everybody says, well, look, I only did it to make people conscious of the dangers of nuclear weapons. That's why I only did it. I only made that broadcast about that America was under nuclear attack from the Russians or whatever, or the Chinese or whatever, or North Korea or whatever. I want to make people conscious of that danger. So I made that broadcast. People, and it could have been accidents, could have been people killed even, and people go crazy. But it was worth the sacrifice to make people aware of what the threat of nuclear war would be. So that's why I did the broadcast. That's what. So I'm just saying, bring back to Orson Welles I think it was back in the 20s when he did that report that we're under attack from the Martians. You see, in those days there were no nuclear weapons, so he used the greatest threat to us was then the Martians. You see, so if you want, you could Google that. I think it was Orson Welles. Could be mistaken, but I think it was him. Okay. There you go. So here you have the J.D. Vance and watching the former president in the debate, making false, erroneous accusations about the migrants eating dogs and cats, and his response that we need former President Trump now more than ever to protect us. Okay, that was that. Now, before I shoot out numero uno to you, I just want to introduce you to my latest book here, Richard's Best of 2023 Political Cartoons. And you can see you have some of it's in color. See here? There's some of the color. Here we have, going back, if you remember well, I don't want to go back into talking about that. Here we have Marjorie Taylor Greene and Trump. Okay, so anyway, this was my 2023 best political cartoons of 2023. And if you want to just look at it and go through it and just sample some of the cartoons, all you have to do is go to Richard's, no apostrophe S, just Richard's Books of Political Cartoons.com. And there's a link on that you if you decided to purchase the book, you can use the link to Amazon to purchase it at. Okay, Okay. Now we have now the hurricane. Here's Milton. There's Milton lined up to hit Florida, and Trump is watching Milton. He's watching it. There he is, watching the hurricane approaching Florida. There it goes. There it goes here. Okay, now I'll give you background on this one. This was numero uno. Former President and potential next President Donald Trump watching Hurricane Milton slam into the west coast of Florida as a Category 3. It didn't land as a Category 3. It was far less than they expected, but it did plenty of damage. Given Trump has criticized the Biden administration's response to Hurricane Helene he has criticized the Biden administration's response to Hurricane Helene this is going the first other hurricane they had. He criticized that, former President Trump did, by alleging in a social media post, "I'll be in North Carolina shortly, but I don't like the reports say he's going there to visit the devastation. I'll be in North Carolina shortly, but I don't like the reports that I'm getting about," and here he goes, "about the federal government and the Democratic governor of the state going out of their way to not help people in Republican areas." So people have come forth and they said, well, some from governors, it may not have been from North Carolina, I don't know if it was North Carolina, but governors that have said that they've gotten great support from the Biden administration and they're doing all they can. And there were some people on the ground, some victims, who claimed they weren't getting the support they needed. So I'm just giving you the overview here, okay? And Trump ally, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican Georgia, who's a big Trump fan and very real right-winger in the House, has doubled down on a post following Hurricane Helene. This was from Milton, prior to Milton coming. Now Milton's coming, that had suggested that the hurricane's path had been intentionally directed to target Republican-leaning counties. So she said that about Helene, and then when Milton came along, she said Milton's doing the same. They're doing the same thing now with Milton. They're directing Milton in the same way they directed Helene. Now appearing to say Democrats are manipulating Hurricane Milton's path also. Okay, so that's that. So that's the backdrop for here is former President Trump watching that hurricane. Is watching Milton going towards Florida. And he's thinking to himself, because Biden called him out on that. And he said, Biden calls my patriotic Marjorie's weather. President Biden had said it was basically beyond ridiculous to say that the hurricane, that humans can control hurricanes. The only thing they can do, what I heard about, is to seed them and sort of mitigate them a little bit by seeding them and flying around them and seeding them. They call that seeding. So that's the most they can do, but they can't control the path of. Nobody can do that. No human being can do that. So Biden calls my patriotic Marjorie's weather concerns beyond ridiculous. So he's defending Marjorie Taylor Greene, her original her theory, her you could say another one of her conspiracy theories, because she saw a while ago she had talked about that there were Jewish lasers coming in from outer space that caused the fires in California by the lasers from this Jewish entrepreneur who was launching lasers on his own spacecraft, using lasers to start the fires in California. So that was another one of her conspiracies. So here's the latest. This was like the latest one, So Biden figured he'd say this. Biden calls my patriotic Marjorie's weather concerns beyond ridiculous. What about Biden's ridiculous climate change hoax? If the ocean rises, you're going to have more seafront property. So he did. That was word for word what former President Trump. He did say we're going to have more seafront property. Now, I took it a little bit. What's the purpose of the property is to build on, right? He's talking so to build is that property is you. What is property for? Is to build, right? That's President Trump's view of property. So he says, I wrote, more seafront properties, more hotels. Is that good or bad? Is that good or bad? So that was former President Trump saying that. Now, one thing before I go, I like to stay neutral as I can in terms of giving you the joke, the facts, and then have you decide and make your own choice about how you want to think. But to think about what's going on, not to walk around plugged in and to this and that, but just to think what's going on in the world. And that's really the ultimate aim of my political cartoons that I do. And I try to stay neutral. And I just want to inject this because I don't like to do that, but I am making an exception with this one thing that I feel strong about, is that what's going on with Ukraine is that I think we've come to a fork in the road. I'm not saying anything about politics or who to vote for or mentioning any names. I'm just saying that the American leadership, I think that the leadership in America has come to a crossroads with Ukraine where we have to decide whether we're going to negotiate for a peace with Putin or whether we're going to send them more additional defensive weapons to just take out the weapons that the Russians are firing, these missiles that are devastating Ukraine further to the brink of in my opinion, to the brink of collapse. Because if you keep doing these missiles to people, you're going to demoralize the troops. People are getting killed. Their families are getting killed. It's going to eventually take it down. So the point is that we should either make the choice here and now whether we're going to surrender Ukraine to parts of Ukraine to the Russians, or whether we're going to send them these long-range missiles that they can use only not to attack civilians or the population, just to take out these offensive missiles that the Russians have been firing at Ukraine. So I think that by not doing that, we're on the path to surrendering Ukraine, and that by de facto we're surrendering Ukraine, which is de facto. So if we're going to surrender Ukraine, by de facto, we might as well go ahead and just surrender Ukraine. If we're going to fight with the Ukrainians who spent their blood and their human beings and all the treasure and blood that they had to fight and put up a heroic fight, and we're going to support their democracy and support and counteract the thrust of President Putin to probably take more, maybe go after Baltic countries after that, Moldova, this and that, Estonia, and this and that. So not to mention Poland, but I'm saying if we're going to open the door to Putin, we might as well open the door now, because, in my opinion, and I'm no military strategist or anything like that, but from what I'm seeing is that Ukraine's going to lose if we don't send them those long-range missiles. And by not doing that now, we're already on the path to surrendering Ukraine. So we might as well go all the way and just surrender it. Or if we're going to fight for Ukraine, we might as well go all the way and send the missiles, these defensive missiles to Ukraine to again, I repeat, to just go after the missiles that are attacking them, their bases and their launching pads and stuff like that. So that's all I have to say about that, So I don't usually do this. And again, I say I pray for peace in the Middle East with what's happening in Gaza now. And now there's a two-front war over there. I pray for some kind of resolution for that. I won't even begin to speak about that because it's just beyond me in terms of what should be done there. And it has to be, in my opinion, again, I'll give you a little bit of my opinion, is you have to involve all the Arab nations in that region and get together and have sort of like a mini, an Arab United Nations. In the Middle East, you need an Arab, because the United Nations militarily, they can't do much, but you need an Arab United Nations in the Middle East to tamper this down and to negotiate. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So I pray for peace there, and what's going on in Lebanon, those people there, it's just unbelievable. And again, what the Israelis have taken from all these years of them being attacked, even before October 7th, they were subjected to all this bombardment. Sporadically, they were getting it, not like today, but even still, it was there. Think if we had that in America, how we would feel if we had to worry about every couple of weeks or so we got a missile coming at us, and then we had to worry about people shooting them down. You know, place of buying something, and then boom, a thing falls from the sky. You know, so there you have it. So I want to say God bless you, God bless America, folks, and I pray for all our service people overseas, and take care. And I'll see you next time. God bless you, and God bless America. Bye, folks.